Good evening, everybody, and welcome to tonight's Monday night panel. We're going to be reviewing the game on Saturday. Very disappointing, but yes, we will be reviewing that. I'm going to bring Brick on because we have quite a few bits to go through.
Oh yeah, Chris,
Good
you all right?
evening.
Evening to
Yeah,
you.
you okay?
I just explained the Manchester City reference at the start there. It's a match day programme from a few years ago. It was this day yesterday that we played Manchester City at Main Road, lost 3-0. Nicky Summerby scored for Manchester City, you might remember. Yes, we did play Manchester City in the league. Just wanted to put that one in just for a bit of a laugh. Ha ha! It's really funny, that, isn't it? Right, let's have a look at SAS travel, shall we? A few seats left for Crawley on the 7th of March. Leaves West Swindon at 10 o'clock in the morning. Nigel Eady County Ground at 10:30. Members £23, non-members £25. And then on Tuesday, the 17th of March, back to midweek action. That's at Gillingham. Departing West Swindon at 1:15 p.m. Nigel Eady County Ground at 1:45 p.m. Members are £24, non-members £26. And then on Saturday, the 21st of March, Tranmere away, departing West Swindon, 8:15 a.m. The Nigel Eady County Ground at 8:45 a.m. Members £29, non-members £31. And just thank you to the wonderful people of SAF Travel who get us there and they get us back again. Fabulous job they do. And can I also mention this? You might have seen this. It's the museum are presenting the Magnificent Seven, featuring a museum update and future plans. And we've got 7 players from 7 decades. From the 60s, of course, Don Rogers, Kenny Stroud from the 70s, Charlie Henry from the 80s, Paul Bowden from the 90s, Gerald Eiffel from the 2000s, Paul Caddis from 2010s and 2020s, Billy Bowden, who we hope will be back in action very shortly. If you want to get a free ticket, you can go to www.stfcmuseum.org/magnificent7-7/ and it starts at 7 o'clock and finishes at 9 o'clock on Wednesday, the 11th of March. There you go.
And also, it is on socials, isn't it? If you want to do the QIR code, and we will have some leaflets on the OSC table on Saturday if you want to pick up one of those as well.
Yes.
Okay, so we had a busy weekend for the team. So the women won 4-0 away at Bournemouth Sports yesterday. So fantastic goal result for them. And also the academy, who I don't think have played for a while, they won 5-2 down at Exeter. So all good except for the men's team. Hey, you'll come on to that. And we have an exclusive. So Supermarine. As we are playing Bristol City on Saturday.
Bristol Rovers.
Yes, Bristol Rovers. Yes. Thank you, Vic. As we're playing Bristol Rovers on Saturday, their Supermarines game will be on Friday night. And it's been dedicated a pay what you can fixture as well. So it's not going to clash with the town's game. So if you can go along, please go and support Supermarine. They'll be much appreciated. And also, just one more thing from me. At Christmas, people will remember we used to do a children's collection for the hospital, for the children's ward. We didn't this year. The club done it themselves this year. So what we've decided as a committee is that they get lots of presents at Christmas and things like that. So we're going to do an end of season gift donation, not just for the children, but for all the wards, well, maybe not all the wards, but specific wards that we're asked to by Brighter Futures. So what we're asking for is gifts that you can donate, and it's things that will go into a gift bag, things like puzzle books, handkerchiefs, tissues, combs, brushes, sweets, no nuts, same with chocolate, no nuts, hand cream, and just things like that, little things that will be coming useful for the patients while they're in hospital. And then we will be going up and distributing them at the end of the season. Just thought it was nice, just a bit different. We also have a link for the children. It does say Christmas gifts, but of course they can use them anytime. So you can either go on the link and order it from Amazon, well, they go straight to the hospital, or you can bring them on here, to the table at the OSC. And again, that's things like colouring books, Play-Doh, slime. Goodness knows why they want that, but they do. Puzzles and just things like that. So either go on Amazon or bring the equivalent, which we put onto a flyer, which will be on socials this week. So hopefully we'll bring a bit of cheer up to the hospital when they least expect it, I think. So yeah, so there you go. Vic, do you think that's all?
I think that's all we've got for the moment, yes, before we get on to other matters and then Saturday.
So, yes, it's her game 2 dedicated fixture as well.
Yes.
And we're just bring on Holly to talk about that. Good evening, Holly.
Hello.
Yeah.
Hello.
Thank you very much indeed for joining us. I know you've got domestic duties to do in a minute, so we won't keep you long. Obviously, Saturday's a very special day. Just explain her game 2. I mean, it's been going a fair amount of time, but it's worth just going through it. So explain her game 2 and what's happening on Saturday.
Yeah, so her game 2 was, I think, created nearly 5 years ago. So we're actually planning our 5th anniversary for the upcoming year. But I've only been involved probably the last 12 to 18 months as the ambassador for the club. And we are now partnered, I think, with 81 of the EFL clubs, which, you know, is a great achievement. And our role is to really support women and girls in sport. So whether that's fans, players, families, staff at the club, you know, just making sure there's equality, inclusivity within football for women and girls. And at the weekend, the club are dedicating their fixture to her game 2. So that's a really exciting opportunity for us to showcase what we do and celebrate all women in football. And it's also a really nice way for the club to show their links to the community, because we've got some grassroots teams getting involved, coming to be flag bearers, and show how, you know, football is a great community for everyone.
In that time that you've been involved, have you noticed any change? I mean, you don't just go to home games, you go to away games as well. And I have to say that the facilities for female supporters are not great. So have you noticed any change in that time?
Yeah, there is definitely improvement. You know, I think there's more opportunity to report issues. There's stewards that are aware of, you know, situations, so that if you do have any concerns, you can raise it with clubs, both home and away. We've also seen a lot more of reporting taking place over the last probably year or so, which is really positive, because it feels like people are confident to report and, you know, share if something is a problem. And that's the best way to do it, because reporting shouldn't be seen as a negative thing. It's to create a better environment, and, you know, clubs and us then know how to play our focus in the right direction, so that we can improve the environment for everyone who's, you know, visiting the game or coming regularly.
Yeah, Chris, I mean, you go away as well. What are your thoughts on it?
Yeah, I think it is changing because more focus is on it. I know we had some problems on Saturday with the female ref, which is never nice to see. An official getting abuse anyway, but certainly not to the extent that we've heard that was going on. And I think it's maybe the thing that football clubs can do for her game 2 and inclusive of women is the toilets. We get less toilets, and they're usually very substandard. But of course, women are there's less women go. But that doesn't mean that the standards should change. But,
no, I mean, I think, to be fair, Holly, you know, football clubs were very male orientated for a long, long time, but I think that's changed immensely. I mean, certainly the days that I went, you know, a woman going to football was a very rare thing, but not now, thankfully. Yeah. And those facilities should be up to standard for both, shouldn't they?
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, surprisingly, I talked to quite a lot of women who have been going to watch Swindon for years and years and years. So, you know, women have been going to football for a really long time, but you're right, then there wasn't a lot of women, and now there's more and more, which is great because, you know, football, whether, you know, you want to support the men's or women's team, sometimes it's just about availability. You know, if you want to get to a game at a weekend, the opportunity to have choice of what game you want to go to is there, because, you know, there's often football all over the weekend, to be honest, depending on what, you know, level or standard you want to watch. So you know, grassroots, etc., you know, Hellenic Prem, those kind of games, there's so much opportunity. But yeah, I think there's still definitely more work to be done, and Chris is right. The reports that we had over the weekend, you know, football is about opinions, it's about debate, and that's really like one of the best things about it. You can be sat, you know, next to someone and you see a penalty shout and you can disagree or you can agree in terms of, you know, was that a pen, was it not, which is fine. You know, you can give constructive criticism about, you know, a referee, but when it becomes about, you know, horrible abuse towards them because of their gender, that's when it's not fair and it's not right, because, you know, it shouldn't matter. Your opinion should be about the game, not, you know, about who's kind of, you know, the referee at that point in time.
Yeah, Chris, we should be adult enough now, shouldn't we? I mean, I remember when Wendy Toms was like the first lines person way back in the 1990s. I mean, we should have been grown up enough now to accept that, you know, we talk about the Lionesses and their success and what that's meant to football. So why is it that women can't officiate at football matches? There's no reason why they can't.
No, it isn't. And we know that men get all the abuse as well, the referees and everything. But as Holly said, when it comes about your gender, it's just not, it should be equal. It's not the same. It's not right. And just going back to, we've had a few comments about the toilet facilities, and especially at Barnet, some of the women's toilets were closed and some of them were unisex, which is not good, really. Not in a football ground. So
yeah, I think Grimsby is a particular special case, if I might put it like that.
Grimsby was one of the worst, and also Bromley wasn't good. It was, well, I don't know if it was better this season because they had Portaloos. But which was using as well.
Toilet, I think the season before where it didn't lock, so it was great, but awful really, to be honest. Right. But yeah, this year it was Portaloos. So, you know, but there was definitely more at least.
Yeah. Ollie, I'll let you go in a minute because I know you've got busy things to do. But I mean, what are you hoping for from Saturday? I mean, the Bristol Rovers representative is going to be there, which is great, because I think her game too very much sort of started at Rovers, didn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, we've got quite a big team at Rovers, so hopefully they'll be in attendance, and I think Chloe's going to come and talk to you on the pitch before, so you know, that should be great. But what I hope from Saturday is a really, you know, an opportunity to celebrate women in football. You know, there's some great women across the club who work at the club, who create, you know, such a great community and environment for everyone going, and I think it's just a reminder, you know, about that equality. We had the opportunity on Friday to take some of the grassroots teams that we're partnered with to the training session for the men's. So we got to talk to them about why, you know, we're dedicating the fixture on Saturday, why they wear our warm-up t-shirts, and just remind, you know, everyone that the importance of equality in football makes it a better place for everyone, because it's just, you know, it's much more fun and much more safe for everyone. So I just hope everyone enjoys it, you know, and enjoys the moment to celebrate, really.
Excellent. Well, we'll see you on Saturday. We hope it all goes very well for you, because I know you're pulling your hair out at times trying to get all this sorted, but
I've got a lot of lists going on. But yeah, no, I'm looking forward to it. There's lots of other people involved as well. We've got a few more people on board as advocates as well, which we'll share later this week. So yeah, it's a big team effort for sure. So yeah, it's really hopefully going to be fun. And thank you for having me tonight, and look forward to seeing you on Saturday.
Look forward to it, Holly. Thank you very much indeed. Off you go and do domestic duties.
Thank you.
Thank you. All the best.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Carter. See you later.
See you later.
Good night. Yes, Sean, you make the comment about the Wednesday game for the women wasn't advertised. I can certainly feed that back. And also you say about the fixtures and results. They are on there. If you go onto the men on the website, if you go onto the men's, there's some tabs along the side, and it's got the men's, the academy, the women, and the development team. So It is on there, but it's not as easy to find because we've had a couple of people ask about that. So hopefully that sorts out Sean's question about not being able to look at the results and the fixtures. Okay, so right, let's get everybody else on. So tonight we have Ray. We have
Good
Rob.
evening, all.
Evening.
Hello.
We have Darren.
Evening.
Hello.
There we go. All right, and I will see you later.
Marvellous. Thank you very much indeed, Chris. Excellent. Nice to see you all. Thank you very much indeed for joining us. John was supposed to be joining us. I don't know whether he will or not. He who judges backgrounds. So let's hope he does join us. We'd be very happy to see him. Right. Let's. I suppose we have to discuss Saturday. Craig, you were quite fortunate you weren't there, were you?
No, I was at Easter Houses Lily Miners Welfare in Dalkeith, which is a good 400 miles away from Swindon. But that was a 2-1 loss for the home team as well. So there's a bit of kind of synchronicity there. But no, I've seen the highlights. So please don't come to me to ask for an explanation because I'm at a loss too. But there you go. But,
well, we've got a whole sort of run into the season to discuss, really, I think it's fair to say. Ray, your thoughts on Saturday?
Yeah, frustrating is probably the biggest sort of word that comes to mind. Didn't look in any real trouble. We were really flat after a good start for 10 minutes or so. But I didn't see Crewe scoring, really. And then out of the blue, we've kind of half given them a goal, really. And then we're chasing it again. And yes, there was a reaction second half, but we'd let another silly goal in at a corner, really, and gave us some mountain to climb. And yeah, we were chasing. We had a go. I did think first half we looked at, particularly after the first 10 minutes, we looked like really stretched as a team. Quite often we'd be going forward and with only like one player that was quick enough to get there. And we did look like more of a team second half when we were attacking as a team more consistently, I felt, second half. And I did think we might actually go on and equalise the way we played in that latter part of the second half. But unfortunately not. Just so frustrating at the time because you think where a win would have left us, really.
Well, I'll get to the league table. I might as well tell you now. We would have been, in second place. A win would have got us, and we could drop to fifth tonight because Walsall play MK Dons. So we could drop from second to fifth in the space of 3 days, Rob. Which, frustrating is the word. I think it's fair to say, isn't it? It was a long drive home on Saturday in filthy conditions. The rain was pouring down. I was just thinking, harumph. That was my reaction. Down the M5, harumph.
Yeah, quite a good reaction, I think. There might have been a couple of expletives in front of that if you'd have asked me on Saturday, to be fair. But frustrating does it partially explain it, but it was, again, a defeat of our own making, wasn't it? 2 very, very, very poor defensive goals we gave away. And whilst defensively, I think last time we were on, we were crediting how well we were doing with our clean sheet record. When we give goals away, we give bad goals away. I don't think there's any doubt about that. There was no organisation for the first goal. Lord knows what was going on to allow somebody to get a free shot on the edge of your 18-yard box after the ball's gone 20 feet in the air. That was just inept defending. And the second goal, what's the old rule? You never make substitutions at corners because people are not organised enough when the ball comes into the box. And credit Crewe, it was a lovely little flick, it has to be said, but it just really was a case of being architects of your own downfall. And hard as we did try, and we'll give them credit because they definitely were a much, much better outfit in the last half an hour. I don't think there's too much doubt about that. And we probably did do enough on the day to get ourselves a point. But you can scarcely say that we deserved it. It was a poor day at the office.
Darren, I think you were watching an oval ball game, weren't you? You weren't near the county ground Saturday, is that right?
Yeah, that's right. I was at a reunion, and I was cheering on the Red of Wales against Scotland. So sorry, Craig. But I was following, as you do, through the app, and it just shows how the stats can tell you one story, and then you know that something else is going on elsewhere. Because the stats seem to be showing things are going to be fine. But as you say, I I was in South Wales, disappointed there in the end. So came back to double frustration and double disappointment.
Yeah, a double disappointment with Scotland snatching it to the death, I think it's fair to say. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I was looking at the shots. You mentioned the stats. Swindon 21, Andrew. Crewe 7. I mean, wow. 21 shots. That's incredible. On target, Swindon 3, Crewe 2. Both of those were goals. So disappointing.
Yeah, no, I think it's, those stats don't really tell the true story, do they? Because in the first half, no one got a shot on target until Crewe scored, and no one really looked like getting a shot on target until Crewe scored, and then obviously they grabbed the second, as Rob said, from the slackness at the set piece, and then they go a bit into defensive mode. We're a bit better, but yeah, I mean, the only real kind of moment you can think of after the goal is like the Dryden header at the end, which I think he heads onto the goalkeeper's head. But there is an argument we kind of did enough, but it again, as Rob said, it's just like the nature of the goals feels very self-inflicted and an opportunity that's kind of passed by, really.
Yeah, it was a strange one, that, wasn't it? Because it looked, I mean, when he headed it, it looked as the goalkeeper was just in the right place at the right time. It was out, and once that didn't go in, you just thought, that's that, really, isn't it?
Yeah. I think so. That was the one sort of big moment that we kind of managed to carve out. A few decisions where the right pass wasn't made at the right time. It's all just a bit under par, and Crewe took those two real opportunities.
Hi, Shane. Thanks for being in touch. We need to be consistent now. Stop rotating the squad and keep a solid 11 when we can. Obviously, we will get injuries, but I think it's vital we try and keep the same 11 between now and the end of the season. So annoying, says Sean. Yes, we didn't play well, but horrible to stomach. 2 on target, 2 goals. Yeah. Let's have a look at the bare facts then. Swindon Town 1, Crewe Alexandra 2. Michael Olakigbe on 64 minutes with the assist from Fletcher Holman. Mattis Holicek on 45+2 and Josh Marsh on 53. Adrian Thibault and Jack Powell with the assists for Crewe. A 3-4-3 for Swindon. Ripley in goal. Ball, Knight, LaBelle and Clark across the back. Palm on for Ball on 52. We'll ask Andrew what the latest is on him in a moment. Snowden with Hoylett replacing him on 79. Nichols replaced by McGregor on 68. Kilkenny and Batty replaced by Mabetti on 79 minutes. Holman, Drinan with a yellow on 45+3. Scanlon replaced by Olakigbe on 53. James Ball, Andrew, I mean, it looked pretty horrible when he went off.
Yeah.
So we know, is that it for the season? Is it a season?
I think that's the fear. We still haven't got kind of definitive diagnosis yet, but the suspicion very much was kind of dislocated wrist and quite bad. So without it being formally kind of declared, I wouldn't be too hopeful, I'd say.
Yeah. Yes, it did look pretty nasty, and I know he went away in an ambulance after the game, didn't he? He was taken up to hospital. So we wish him well. And if you can get back before the end of the season, it'd be good to see you back. Ray, how about this one then? The theme so far, keeping the same 11. What are your thoughts on that? Because we have changes every week, it appears.
Yeah, I've got mixed thoughts on it, to be honest, Vic. I think if you look at the run we've been on with the midweek fixtures followed by the weekend fixture, there's been a need for some rotation, definitely. And I know Holloway talks about not having a lot in that middle age group within the side, the ones that maybe you can just get to play every game. So I think that's definitely played into it. I'm sure he would have been playing a more settled back line if he'd been able to. It just seemed to be injury after injury back there at the moment. I'm sure we would have seen a little bit more of a settled side there. So, yeah, I'd like to see a little bit more of a settled side, if I'm honest. But then again, if you look at the impact we usually have off the bench, I'm not averse to having finishers, really, and they play a big part in our points total at the moment, I think. So I've got mixed feelings. I'd definitely at the back, if we could get it, I'd like to see a bit more consistency. We haven't got a lot of options in midfield, but it would be good to be able to get Clark out of the back line and in the middle consistently.
Yeah, interesting here. Do you think Crewe having the extra days off helped them, says Kevin? I mean, I think the thing is, Rob, that he's got a week on the grass, as he calls it, hasn't he? It's a rarity. We've had 6, I think, consecutive Tuesdays. Boy, oh boy, aren't we feeling it? Never mind the players. But he has got a week to try and settle on a team to beat the Rovers on Saturday.
Yeah, and he's going to get 2 days on the grass when it's not going to rain as well, according to the forecast. So whoopie-doo. That's some miracles.
No, it's not raining. You're correct. Yeah, well done.
No, I think you've got to be a little bit sanguine about the situation when it comes to rotation of players, I think, because of the number of games that Swindon have played. I've never known a run like this, I have to say. Not so much. We do play Saturday, Tuesday quite regularly. 6 in a row, and 5 of those being away, and none of them being particularly close, really does get you. I can imagine fatigue is set in significantly in that squad over the course of. You think of Harrogate when we came back on a Tuesday, and they probably got home about 3 o'clock in the morning, and they were back out again, or needed to be back out again, training again on the Thursday for sure, to get ready again for the Saturday. So, and that was an away game too. So you sort of think to yourself, well, they've gone through an awful lot over this period. Possibly that one game on Saturday was the one that you'd look at and say, maybe it caught up with them. There's a couple of other performances which haven't really been up to scratch, but we managed to muddle through and get ourselves the points. Saturday, we just didn't seem to have anything left, I don't think. And this week's break, hopefully, we'll see a totally recharged team come out on Saturday, because let's be honest, we cannot afford to lose again. This is another very, very big week. We must win on Saturday. The game tonight will make a difference at the top of the table, whoever wins it. And we've played more games than everybody else. So there are factors not in our favour at the moment. You'd rather have points on the board, I know. It's always an argument, points on the board versus games in hand. But when you get to this stage of the season, you cannot afford to go on a bad run. If you get one bad result, turn it round, become a better team next week, get the points. You can survive with that. You get on a bad run now, this could be terminal. So we must win on Saturday.
Frustratingly, still 1 point shy of last season's total, I think. Is that right? 61.
We are.
60, yeah. Let's have a look. Kevin says, feel I got shortchanged on Saturday with all the time wasting. Mr. Holloway was not happy with it. Can't blame Ollie going in on one on Saturday after the ref blowing up well before the 5-minute minimum added time. Shocking. Do you think Crewe having the extra days helped them? We talked that. We are turning into a very charitable side by giving teams a lead. What's your view, Craig, on chopping and changing? Too much tinkering, Mr. Holloway, says Kevin. So what's your view on that?
Yeah, I'm glad you asked me that question. I wanted to pick up on some of the Shane, I think, said online, and Ray as well. I think that I don't know what our team's identity is. I enjoy watching it when we get our wingers to ping it in. I enjoyed the first half at Crewe away. I enjoyed the Bolton home game in the cup. But I'm still not. We because we've changed the team so much week on week. We're kind of losing that momentum. I think that I'm warming to Holloway. It's a matter of record. I've said that I've never been convinced it's all been about him rather than the team. But I'm warming to him. However, I think that sometimes his squad selections are rather kind of reactive. He's thinking about what the other team's doing rather than just, constructing a team that's got a particular identity. We know what to expect when Swindon go over the white line and how they're going to play. And I think with the amount of chopping and changing, there's always going to be the odd errant result, and there's always going to be the odd kind of, I thought you were marking him. No, mate, you were marking him. But that's going to happen in any team, in any, whether it's sport or whatever. If you keep changing your kind of personnel, that's going to happen. But what I would say is that we've still won more games in the league than anybody else. Looking at the table, I mean, we've lost a lot, but we've not drawn many. So we have won 19 games. If you look at we're kind of looking at the statistics, it's a 40% chance we're going to go up in top 3, 48% are making the playoffs. I mean, it's still all to play for. My worry is that Bristol Rovers is going to be a massive game for Mr. Holloway. And I'm just, it's going to be, I think there's still a lot of love for him amongst Bristol Rovers supporters, but I just worry that he might. Remember when Paolo Di Canio was the manager, and every time he played Oxford, he just kind of got in our own players' heads because they were so kind of pumped up. And I just worry that it's a really important game, as Rob said, but I worry that that there'll be a bit too much noise off. I still think we might just make third place. We still might go up automatically, but we need to keep getting W's. So in relation to your question about continuity, I think that we're seeing the consequences of that. There's no sense of momentum. I mean, wasn't it under our dealers that we played like 23 games with exactly the same time? That kind of Alan McLaughlin was always there.
27.
I can name that squad.
Yeah.
I went a lot that season, but I can name that squad because it was the same 11 every week. And we have got on paper, we've got this, we've got such a strong squad. But So I completely agree with Rob. I think there is a time for rotation, and we have got players that make an impact when they come on. But the starting 11, it seems to be all over the place, and that's my worry. Is we haven't got that momentum, we haven't got a clear identity. But I'll be there on Saturday, so I'm looking forward to that, and I will. I'm allowed to be critical of our coach, but I will certainly get behind the team on Saturday.
27 times in a row. I used to go down on a Friday to see Mr. Ardiles and say same team, and he'd go, yes, same team. Every week. Certainly worked, Darren. I mean, what are your thoughts on that? I mean, it is chop and change, but to a certain extent, you can understand it. He's got young players coming in after January. Of course, there's always change in January. You've got to bed these players in. You've got to give them minutes. You've got a lot of games in a short space of time. So you can understand in a way why there are so many changes.
Yeah, I think I largely agree with everything that's been said, because there's been 13 games in 8 weeks, or less than 8 weeks. And that in itself, with all of the changes, is a challenge. And my sense is the manager would have been trying to keep ahead of that. So managing the 13 games, not just the next game, that would have crept into it. I agree fully over the system. You've got to play that system to build the trust and the understanding. Losing Clark for so long was a big impact. Losing Knight-Labelle at the back, now Ball being injured. All of those are things that you just wish didn't happen. And if they hadn't happened, I think we'd have seen a more settled side. So I think there's a cause and effect. And I'm just hoping now that we find that system, we settle down. But to the point made, there's young players, and you've got to treat those young players with respect as well to make sure that they get the time on the pitch, but don't burn out. Personally, I agree. I think as Ray said about the finishers, it's knowing when to make changes. And in the main, I think Holloway's done a pretty good job with his changes and his substitutions in the main. He's recognised when to change things. But it seems to be those that finish one game start the next. And then it just goes on that rotation all the time. And that's got to be difficult. So I think we'd all want to see a settled side, but I think it's understandable, as to why there's been so many changes over those sort of 13 games.
Yeah, 13 games in 8. How many? What did you say? 13 games in what?
It's about 8 weeks since 1st of January.
Oof.
So
it feels like it.
11 league games, an FA Cup game, and the horror game at Luton.
That's a lot of miles on the bus, I can tell you, Darren. Hi, Jamie. Saw a fan post a stat earlier. We've gone in at half-time, either losing or drawing in 17 of 21 games in all comps at home. Leaves us always up against it if we don't start playing with finishers methodology from the 60th minute onwards or so. Hi, Peter. We were on the ropes for about 10 minutes after the second, but fortunately recovered to at least look like we could have got something from the game. Hi, Anthony. The first 60 minutes was so disjointed, nothing flew in. Played well last 25 minutes, but it was too late. 2-0 down, damage done. And does Drinnan need a rest, says Mike. Interesting thoughts, Andrew. I mean, he's been the mainstay, hasn't he? Over 20 goals is a mark for any player in any league, isn't it? Does he need a rest, do you think, or is he essential to that team?
I think he's just about the only one that has started pretty much every one of the league games. I think everyone else, even Kilkenny, even Nichols, and so on, have been on the bench at least once. So there might be an argument that. Yeah, we've really kind of worked him extremely hard, more than perhaps anyone during this. So maybe there is bound to be a little kind of dip there, but hopefully he's been kind of shoved in ice baths and left to sleep for a week, but not at the same time, obviously. But yeah, something like that. But there is perhaps a question that even for all the energy and all the output he seems to give, whether he could do with the rest. Arguably, hopefully we'll just make up for that more with kind of the fact that they're finally, hallelujah, is not a midweek game.
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? I mean, he's not one of these luxury players, is he? He doesn't hang around the edge of the penalty area. I mean, he works his socks off. There are very few Town players in recent years that you can point a finger at and say, my goodness me, he gives 100% in every game.
Yeah, no, you kind of expect your 24-goal striker to perhaps be a little kind of a finisher who's complaining when he doesn't get the service about 8 yards out, but he's not like that at all, is he? So as you say, he puts in a lot of yards, and with him and Holman up front, that kind of strike partnership isn't necessarily based so much as it on kind of holding the ball up in a more sort of palm way. A lot of it is kind of running and getting it down the sides of people, and then kind of playing from there.
Sure. Just hope to goodness we ain't doing a bit of a Walsall. We have been up the top end all season, near enough. Hi, Bernard. Clark should have been in midfield. Mabete should have started in defence. Hi, Matt. Slipping out of the autos is significant given our results against teams around us, which makes me nervous for the playoffs. That number 10 position is too unsettled for me. We can't afford Scanlon projects at this stage of the season that are virtual passengers. Apart from one shot when he should have squared it, I thought Palmer did well when he came on. Just wish players around him could read him better because he knocks the ball on effectively. Well, we won on possession. 57.2% to Crewe's 42.8. We've mentioned the shot, saves, Swindon 0, Crewe 2. A very important save towards the end as well for the Crewe keeper. Two important saves, in fact. Corner, Swindon had 7, Crewe had 6. Swindon won on passes as well, 402 to 304. Yes. The league table, Bromley atop, 65 points from 33 games with goal difference of 22. Unbeaten in the last 6, but drawn, 1-1, drawn. So not winning every game anymore. Cambridge have snuck up quietly to second place, 63 from 33, goal difference of 22. And then Notts County, 61 from 33 and a 20 goal difference. Then you go into the next 4. Swindon are in 4th place, of course, may go to 5th tonight if MK Dons win at Walsall. 61 from 34 with a goal difference of 16th. MK Dons 58 from 32 and a massive goal difference of 27. Crewe have 53 from 34 with a 10 goal difference, and Chesterfield in 7th, 53 points from 33 games, 9 goal difference. Rovers in 20th place, minus 24 goal difference, played 33, points 30, 1-1, lost, 1. That's their last 6. They won on Saturday. We'll get onto that game in a minute. Look better after experienced reinforcements with subs. Hi, Derek. It must also be difficult for opposing managers as they will never know how we're going to line up until an hour before kickoff. Very good point, I suppose. Ray, what is your mood? I mean, here we are. We're sort of entering March on Sunday. We're getting to that last little run in, aren't we? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, it's that kind of nervous time when you look at the fixtures and none of them look easy. And I guess the fans of all these other clubs are doing the same thing at the moment, and it just gets tense, doesn't it, at this time? So I am feeling that a little bit, I guess. But the other part of me thinks, well, the only thing we can do as supporters at the moment is really get behind the team, because ultimately that's the one chance we have of positively influencing anything. And so I think we've got a real part to play in these next 12 games. So that's something that's in my mind, and that we've definitely got to come to the party as well and try and back the team as much as we can. And yeah, I think we're all desperate for the autos, aren't we? But I think there is a sort of swell of opinion that we've had it if we're in the playoffs. I'm not necessarily of that persuasion. I think we've still got a reasonably good chance if we unfortunately did end up there. So I've not lost hope. I think we're obviously where we deserve to be at this stage in the season, and we won, as said, we've won a lot of games. So I think, there's every chance we can still do it. I'm just trying to, accept we're all going to feel nervous and try and be positive about getting behind them, really.
Rob, oh gosh, we've been down this road so many times before. Mark says, quite simple, need to get out of this league. Kevin says, I'm scared of another season in League Two. We all are, I think. Mark says it's quite simple. It ain't that simple, is it?
No, it isn't. But I think what he's just said there is the reason why, in a lot of people's minds, there's not been quite that groundswell of support for the team and the manager over the course of the last few weeks when they're not playing well. Everybody is so nervous that we end up back where we started at the start of this season. And we've spent a lot of money this year. We've brought a lot of players in. We've really given it a go. I don't think there's any doubt about that. And I don't think any of us at this moment in time want to contemplate what the options are if we don't succeed this year. And that's the real danger, I think. And as Ray said, the one thing we've got to do now for these next 12 games is we've got to play our part, because it would be a crying shame if that team missed out this year. They should be good enough. But we have had, like we say, so many different things and so many different factors that have affected our performances over the course of the last few months. I mean, we've mentioned obviously the Luton scenario, we've mentioned the injuries, we've mentioned not keeping a settled team. From an injury perspective, the two big misses for me, Butterworth early in the season would have made a massive difference, and Paul Glatzel when he went off at Cheltenham. The difference we've in that side. You mentioned Aaron Drinan and the fact that he's had to play every minute. If Glatzel was still there, he wouldn't have had to have played every minute, because he does the work for 3 or 4 players when he's on that pitch most of the time. So obviously it's a worry, I think, is where my current demeanour is. I'm worried. I want to be encouraged, but I'm worried, and I've got to try and get off of that wagon and get back to being encouraging again by Saturday.
Yeah. Once we start playing football, we punish teams. For an hour on Saturday, we just kept trying long balls over the top. Not sure why we're learning. Well, actually, let's have a look at the long balls. Swindon played 75, Crewe 80. And I mean, does the quality of football matter at the minute, Craig? I mean, just want to win, don't you? Does it matter whether you play really lovely possession football or just 3 points?
This is a classic discussion, isn't it? I don't care. I just want us to win. If we have to win ugly, we win ugly. Anything else is just froth, really. I think right now we've got 12 games left. We just got to, we've got to win 8 of them. We've got to win 6 or 7 of them. And winning ugly, there's a beauty in that, isn't there? No, I mean, being entertained is nice, and we've had that in our history. We've been entertaining, lovely, but the season when we got the most plaudits for being, playing beautiful football was the season we got relegated for the Prem. It was everyone kept saying, "Oh, plucky Swindon, they play so well, they're so beautiful to watch," but we got beat. I mean, I frankly don't care about being entertained, and I've never understood that argument about you go to the football to be entertained. I go to the football to see Swindon Town, and some seasons we're easier on the eye than others, but I think this is the time to just get to grind out those 1-0s. And those 2-1s. That's all that matters now, I think.
I'll take you back to 1970 and 74, Holland. Or 74 and 78, I should say. A total football, and they didn't win the World Cup.
Mm-hmm.
There you go. That's the way it is. Look better after experiencing form at Southampton, I think. Oh, gosh, so many coming in. Thank you all very much indeed. I'll get to more of them in a minute. What's your thought on that, Darren? Do you want to watch pretty football, or do you want to win 1-0?
I just want to get out of this league. For me, a scrappy 1-0 will do it. If we won every game with 30% possession and we won 1-0, I'd take that. It just seems a remarkable season. Last year, Chesterfield got into the playoffs with 70 points. Bradford went up in third on 78. It's just a funny old league this year. And that's why, you'd love to watch great football, but we just need to get out. And I think that the 3 points, you're going to need more points than we've ever needed before to get out of this league, I think.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, playing attractive football's all well and good, but if you stay in League Two, Darren, then what's the point of that? You're playing the best football in League Two for the next 10 years. What's the point?
Absolutely. And we've got a squad which, maybe I'm being slightly optimistic, but I think we've got a squad that's well placed to do relatively well in League One. So I think at the beginning of the season, if we were where we are now, I'd have accepted that. I'd have thought this is a great place to be. But it's the nature and the context of that league table, how we're performing and slipping. That's where the anxiety is coming from. And nobody, it was in Brian Clough, he said nobody wins a game of football on paper. It's all about playing it on grass. That's where we've got to go and do the business. And if we can get out of it, as Bradford have shown this year in the league above, it's just very, very tight. So we can go up and be more suited to League One football than we are League Two football.
Just a note from John Stevens. He says he's having problems with his equipment. I won't use the other words he's put in there. I cannot get involved in the forum, but I would like to say I was impressed with all the backgrounds, but mine was better. But hey, we'll never know, John, unless you send us a picture. I think you just dibbed out personally, but anyway. I know Mr. Holloway goes on about Finley Munro, Andrew, but how big a loss? And he's even had dreams about him, but he obviously liked him very much as a player, as we all did. I mean, I would think he'd still be in running as Player of the Year, wouldn't he? But how big a loss has he been, do you think?
It does feel significant in terms of kind of attacking output, in terms of like crosses, assists, bailing out the defence output in terms of sliding tackles, just kind of getting up and down that left-hand side. It does feel like he almost did do the job of more than one the player. Jake Batty's kind of bedding in there. Yep, there's been the odd good bit, the odd decent cross, but it's asking a lot for him to do that. And it sounds like the bit that's harder to kind of replace immediately is he seemed to have really got a good understanding with the different players about when he'd run, when he'd go. So there was all that kind of fluidity to him being involved, and it hasn't got there. It hasn't got there yet, which is perhaps not surprising with the sort of new look squad, given so they've been travelling to different parts of the country pretty much each Tuesday since January.
Yeah, there's an interesting comment from somebody on here. Oh yeah, hi Adrian. If Drillen scores Saturday, what will his celebration be? Let's hope he doesn't do what he did at the Mem. I mean, let's get on to Saturday then, Andrew. I mean, it is a local derby. They won 3-1 at home against Grimsby on Saturday. Kofi Palmer on 2, Joe Quigley on 7, Yusuf Akamrich on 63 minutes, and then Andy Cook scored one for Grimsby on 38. They have picked up under Steve Evans. There will be the Steve Evans, Ian Holloway factor. It's a 12:30 kickoff. Do we look forward to it? Do we look forward to it with trepidation, or do we look forward to it eagerly? What's your thought on it?
I'm never one to particularly enjoy being turned over by Steve Evans' side, so we should hope that clearly doesn't happen. No, I think rationally we can still be reasonably positive about it. They've that is a good win against Grimsby. I was looking, their best wins under Steve Evans now have kind of been at home. Really, they won at Shrewsbury on New Year's Day, but that was the kind of Michael Appleton Shrewsbury rather than the much better version that we got to see under Gavin Cowan. So that they have picked up a bit, but you can't say they're kind of grinding out a steady stream of results. You can't say they're safe yet either. So I suppose the only thing is it is already quite a different squad from the one that we dealt with quite so easily back in the reverse game.
I think, Ray, they'll be, as they say, bang up for it, though, won't they?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You would think so. It's just got to make sure that we are as well, really, because then we should, the players we've got should be enough to see them off, really, in theory. So we got to hope that we're really up for it. But yeah, I mean, you don't think you can underestimate the Steve Evans factor. I mean, we had Evans versus Di Canio, didn't we, years ago, and the Holloway one feels a bit like that. But he's a guy that is so hard to warm to, isn't he? Even though he looks very different these days, he doesn't sound very different. So I really don't want to lose to him. That's my kind of take for Saturday.
He is he is like the comedy villain, isn't he? As far as Sunderland fans are concerned, he always has been. I mean, it's bizarre, really, but he's always been like that. Yeah,
absolutely. And then that goes back, I think, to Crawley's non-league days, doesn't it?
Yeah.
We played him in the cup. It was. Yeah, but no, hopefully we can do it, but it's not going to be easy, is it?
I think he called it a circus club, didn't he, Rob? And there was a particular chant about Steve Evans, which always used to make me laugh. We've got Di Canio, you've got that bloke, which always used to make me laugh. I don't know why, but it just did. What do you? I know you're not a Steve Evans fan, but he does do a job.
I don't think he'll ever send me a Christmas card. Let's put it that way. My colours are very well nailed to the mast when it comes to Steve Evans. Less of the comedy and far more of the villain. Ask the Boston fans whose club he completely disrupted back in the early 2000s. I mean, I'll never warm to Steve Evans, I'm afraid, and it will please me no end should we turn them over. Forget where we are in the league and forget all the other things. Beating Steve Evans is one of those priorities that you need to have every season, I think, if you're a football team. I don't know what it is about him. He gets results. I don't think there's any doubt about that. He does get results, and I have no doubt whatsoever the Rovers will stay up. I think their position at the moment, whilst still flirting with the relegation issue, I'm sure he will pick up enough points before the end of the season with that team now. They spent quite a bit of money in the transfer window, so I think by the end of the season, they'll be comfortable. But we need to make Saturday's game at the County Ground, when for the first time in ages, we're going to see an awful lot of fans on the bank. It's going to be probably our biggest gate of the season. And it's one of those games that we just have to perform in. Local derbies have not necessarily been great for us over recent times at home. Generally away, we haven't done too badly. At home, we don't tend to do very well. So this is a game we've got to banish all the bad thoughts of the last few weeks and really go at them. It would be nice just to see Swindon, even if the result doesn't necessarily go our way on Saturday, see a team go at them, give it your best shot and go at them. Because I think that's what the fans are just waiting to see that team really have a go at somebody. And if you do that, I still think we're going to get ourselves into a good position come the end of the season.
Sean says, what is the highest amount of losses are there for a team winning a divisional title? And then Dad says, Blackpool, 91-92, who suffered 18 defeats in the fourth tier, but were promoted via the playoffs. So it's possible. Ian says, Holloway, you need to stop bemoaning the departure of Monroe. Not a positive vibe for the players remaining. Hi, Jeff. Rovers is a must-win to keep morale and restart the big push. Surely now a carrot is the likes of Wednesday and that team down the road and possibly West Bromwich Albion here. Hi, Nigel. Crewe fans couldn't believe we were the same side that battered them at their place. Too much hoofball and too many sick notes in this team and kids, says Lawrence. I know you weren't there, Craig, but you probably watched highlights, but it wasn't a Crewe side that we normally expect. They had a bit of an edge to them, I thought, on Saturday. You know, they had a lot of the dark arts. It's as simple as that. There was much talk of time wasting. Personally, I don't have a lot of problem with that, because if you're leading 2-1 away from home, what are you going to do? I mean, what's your thoughts on that?
I mentioned about, you know, the beauty of ugliness, and you know, I think game management, when it's done well, is a wonderful thing. In terms of Crewe, I've got nothing to say particularly about that, but I do want to pick up on Rob's point, and I think that as a supporters club, we should clip that statement that Rob just made and deliver it to the players for Saturday, because that was the kind of pre-match statement that I think the players need to hear for Saturday. I think that we will. I'd completely forgotten it was Steve Evans. I'd completely forgotten it was him. And whilst I've got huge respect for his weight loss journey, he will always be Steve Evans. And so I will certainly look forward to that, you know, to us turning them over. I think there will be a lot of noise on Saturday, and I think that that will only generate more noise from the town end and from all around the ground if there's a big Bristol Rovers contingent. So I haven't got anything to say about Crewe other than the fact I was at the away game, and we were that half we were superb.
Yeah, brilliant.
I remember speaking to you, Vic, at half time, and it's just that those are just few and far between. If we could cobble together two good halves, you know, and we keep talking about the final 30 minutes or, you know, the first 30 minutes, we could just, you know, regardless of who we're up against, let's just stop being reactive and moaning about, you know, teams time wasting and the dark arts, and let's just play our game and be on the front foot and do it. And let's beat the gas heads.
Yeah, that Crewe first half reminded me very much of Leighton Orient under Richie Wellens, which was almost a perfect performance until we conceded a goal, which was some really excellent football. Talk about great football and winning games. Those two you'd point to and say that's how you do it. Paolo Di Canio circus rolling into town. We all remember that, don't we? Thanks, Daz. Don't fall behind and you don't have to worry about time wasting, says Peter. We should never be afraid of a team so low in the league. We are better than them in every department. It's only Holloway in the way, says Adrian. And we simply cannot afford another slow, tepid start, says Matt. I think that's true, isn't it, Darren? Front foot right from the off. Don't mess about.
I agree. And I think there's a couple of things that they can put on. One is that bounce back. You've let the fans down and yourselves down this week, so come back out. To the point of beating Bristol Rovers not that long ago, we did play them off the park. I know there's been changes, but that should give us confidence. And I just keep going back to that game against Bolton, where we came out, we really went for it. There was a bouncing atmosphere, and it was. I recognised we were the underdogs that day and under less pressure. But my goodness, that showed us how we can play and how we could really go at it from the off and sustain it. And I think that's the sort of case, isn't it? That if you start well, you build some momentum and you carry that through. And then if you want to remind them about Steve Evans, go for it, because he's just one of those people, isn't he, who doesn't share our values, doesn't share a lot of things with us. So there's that opportunity to go and put one over him as well. Local derby, big atmosphere. I mean, it's all set to be a great game, and it's just about who responds the best from the off.
You could argue, Darren, that actually turn it around and say Steve Evans will be relishing the fact that you could put it over Swindon. I mean, it's the sort of game he loves as well, isn't it?
Yeah, I still think there'll be. Yeah, we should be bold enough to know that on our day we can beat anybody in this league, and people won't relish coming to us. I know that we'll say people come, it's their big day out. Barrow and I don't want to get into this big club, small club piece, because it's all about the people on the pitch, really. But we should be creating an atmosphere where people aren't relishing it. And if you start the first 5 minutes, then you've got a chance. Whatever Steve Evans has said to their players, you've beaten them in the first 5 minutes, and just keep doing that. Beat them in the first 5 minutes and don't let their gameplay come out. If we sit back off them, they'll get to play their game. So we've just got to get on the front foot, keep them under a bit of pressure, and that can change it completely. I mean, I recognise what you're saying, Vic. He's going to be saying go out there and there's a bit of pressure, but you've just got to take that off the players.
Andrew, would you have a dugout watch on Saturday? Because that'll be quite.
We should deploy a third pair of eyes, shouldn't we? definitely for that, because that could be quite distracting, I think.
It's all right, Andrew. We know what he's going to do. He's going to be going like that every 5 seconds.
Yeah. Ultimately, it's about the players, isn't it, Andrew? I mean, we do focus a lot on managers, but really it's what the players do on the pitch, isn't it?
Yeah, it is ultimately either setting them up in the right way or just giving them the kind of belief and confidence to go and perform. And I think he's going to have to do a little bit of work on that this week, in just kind of stoking them back up after all those frustrations. I mean, we did the first sort of 10 minutes or so weren't too bad against Crewe, and then it
could have scored after about 30 seconds, couldn't we?
Yeah, then it did kind of peter out after that, which I suppose is a bit of a worry. But yeah, you hope that derby energy will perhaps lift us as well with a bit of luck.
Right, I'm going to put you all on the spot here. I, of course, don't have to do anything because I'm in that lovely position where I don't have to put a view forward. Let me just read a couple of these. We've beaten both Cambridge and Bromley at home this season. No need to fear Bristol Rovers. Only 4 times this season we have lead at half-time. Need to play for 90 minutes and pick the best team to start for once, says Nigel. Right, Ray, playoffs or autos, where do you sit at this precise moment? And a result for Saturday. No pressure.
Okay. I'm going to be positive and say we'll maybe hang on to that third place, but I'm not despondent if it ends up the playoffs. We can give it a good go in there as well. And Saturday, maybe a 2-1.
Okay, I'll take that. Rob?
I am really hedging my bets on where we're going to finish at the moment. I fear playoffs, I have to say. I hope automatic, but I fear playoffs. And not because I don't think we can do well in them, but just that we would have to carry some momentum into them. to be positive about it. And at the moment, we need some results to do that. So we need some performances and some results. I think Saturday is going to be it's going to just be one of those games. I think it's just going to be a game which is going to be very horrible to watch, most of it. And I just hope we come out the right side of it. I think we might squeak it 2-1, but I fancy it might be a draw.
Craig, I know you're coming all the way down from that far off land. So
yeah, well, it's 378 miles, so they better show up as well. I'm going to go for her. I'm going to go for a 2-1 win, a red card apiece, and we're going to finish the season in third place with a win against Chesterfield on the last game of the season to do it.
Brilliant. And will the red card be on the pitch or in the dugout? What's your thoughts on that?
Well, I'm not, that's a separate category altogether. I think there will be stuff on the touchline going on, as Andrew suggested, but. No, it's gonna. I'm looking forward to it. I've not been for a month, so I'm looking forward to it. So I just hope that that the players show up as well. And also, can I just add, in a really personal note, I used to be the club secretary of Radder Rangers FC, which is where Tom Lockyer used to play as a left back alongside my son Alistair Gurney. And Alistair now plays for Clapton Community in London, and of course Tom Lockyer is back at Bristol Rovers where he started off. And I'm just, I'm just delighted to see him fit and healthy and alive, frankly. So I've got a soft spot for him, but not for the gas heads. But I'm looking forward to not only to being back home in Swindon, seeing the town play, but seeing Tom Lockyer get another 90 minutes under his belt, which would be really lovely. So
yeah. Obviously, after his problems, his health problems,
yeah.
yes, of course. A very, very good words. Thank you, Darren.
I fully expected Milton Keynes and Notts County to be there or thereabouts, and us, and then Cambridge, of course, as another. Bromley have been the surprise package. So we are now, I think, dependent on them making a couple of mistakes. So I'm probably like Ray, hopeful of 3, fearful of the playoffs, because my own anxiety will go up a level. But I think these next 2 games are really important. How we perform against Bristol Rovers and then away at Crawley may set the conditions that follow thereafter. So I'm predicting a 2-1 win on Saturday, and with that, taking another win at Crawley, and the whole balance changes, and then we'll definitely be automatics, and we'll definitely be third.
Excellent. Mark says, funny feeling 4-1 Town. That'll do nicely. I mean, I think, wasn't it after Shrewsbury, Andrew, where we all got very depressed and it was all very down and blah, blah, blah. And we dropped out the top 3 and then one at Barnet went back into second place and it's all lovely again. I mean, it's that time of the season, isn't it?
Yeah, it is a bit like that, especially where it's so close. I think I agree with Darren that Notts County and MK have to look pretty strong. Cambridge look quite strong. I'd be very interested if you put us in Bromley's place all of a sudden when they'd drawn 3 in a row and didn't get a shot on target at Harrogate on Saturday. I wonder how we'd be reacting to that. Just as an absent-minded thought to throw in there. And I'm going to stick with the 2-1 win because that seems very fashionable and plausible.
And automatical playoffs.
I've got to say MK and Notts County do worry me a bit, and I feel like Bromley might hold on. So I think we will be doing last day score watching on our phones. That's as far as I'll go.
Ooh, Jamie 3-2 Holman hat-trick to cement his cult hero status, and it's the hope that kills. Yes, that phrase to end on. Let's do that. Thank you, Peter, very much indeed. A nice conclusive thought. Thank you all very much indeed, gentlemen. Fifey and the gang will be here at 9 o'clock with Fools Rush In, I guess, this evening. So we wish them well. Wow. I don't know. It's one of the most depressing drives home on Saturday. I don't know why. It just was, because it was early in the day, and then you had to listen to other results come in. We were second and then we weren't, and it was raining and it was horrible. And hopefully Saturday will be totally different. And Tom says, hoping for the title, got 25-1 before the season started. Ooh, good luck with that. I hope it works out. There you are, Chris. Interesting hour. We'll be back next week.
Excellent. Sorry. Yeah, thanks very much for joining us. Thank you for Holly for her Game 2 preview. So we look forward to seeing that on Saturday. I'm going 3-1, by the way, if anybody's interested. But so next week, right, we've got a double header next week. On Monday, we have a Monday night panel. So we will be reviewing the Bristol Rovers game. I nearly said it again. The Bristol Rovers game. And on Tuesday night, we have David Kerslake joining us.
We do. Yes.
So it's a double header. David actually coaches on a Monday, so he can't do Monday. So we're going to do it on the Tuesday. So I hope you'll all join us for Monday and Tuesday next week.
And Hannah, just a quickie. Hannah says, can we get a mention of Swindon 175? As it was Jill Gray's sister, Caroline, and her husband, Paul, who got the club to play the Hooter recording in the first place. Excellent. Well done to them, because it's always a lovely moment when that Hooter plays. So well done to them. Yes. Sorry, Chris.
Yeah, that's all right. No, that's fine. So we will see you all next week. Thank you guys for your time tonight, and we will see you later. Goodbye.